Okay, assignment 10A, last week. Solve the equations for the variable. We've seen this, and by the way, you have your multiplication factor chart down on the second page, okay? So you have 3x to the second minus 12x equals 0. So there's two answers, so with two answers I want to use my A, B, C labels. So that's A, that's B. There's no C. Now when there's an A and a B, but without a C, we're going to do our, just the GCF will get you where you need to be. So 3 and 12 are both in the third row and they both contain X, so put X with it. And that results in factor 1, the GCF itself. Then I go divide by 3x up there. And that's going to be 1. X squared divided by x is x. And then 12 divided by negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4, so minus 4. Okay. And that's F2, and now we can solve it. So 3x could equal 0. 1x minus 4 could equal 0, so I'm going to divide by 3. And 0 is my first solution. Then I add 4. And then you can divide by 1 if you want, but it's 4 divided by 1 is 4. So 0 and 4 are the two answers. Okay, next one, we have x to the second minus 9x plus 18 equals 0. So we have two answers. Okay. Because of x to the second, that means there's two, so we want to use our ABC labels. So that's A, that's B, that's C. Well, what do you do with an ABC? Well, the first thing you want to do is make sure the equation's equal to 0, which it is, so I don't have to rewrite the equation. Then I'm going to go to my Google calculator. Okay, and I use the discriminant, okay? The square root of b squared minus 4ac. I'm going to put a second parentheses there. So the b we know is negative 9, and then 4a is 1, c is 18. Okay, so I'm going to plug that into the calculator. So I go square root. Remember, you need that second parentheses there, and then negative 9. So minus 9. Close that. Remember, you got to raise that to the second power. So to the second power, and then subtract 4. Always a 4. And then a is 1 and c is 18. b squared minus 4ac. Okay, so I got 3, so that means that getting an integer, not a decimal, meaning I need to try to factor it into two parentheses. A parentheses times a parentheses, the F1, F2. So first I see if I have a GCF, and then I make my t-table. Okay, 1, 9, and 18, the GCF's 1. Okay, and also you can't do x with a c, so we're not going to do 1. 1 times 18, you always take the a times the c is positive 18. So if it's positive, the signs have to match. So I put negative, negative, and I'm trying to add to get to negative 9. So 18 divided by 1 is 18. That doesn't add to negative 9. 18 divided by 2 is 9. No, that's negative 11. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So there you go. Okay, that adds up to negative 9. Now your a is 1. If the x squared has a 1 in front of it, you can just get rid of it and make two parentheses x, x. So minus 3 minus 6. So x minus 3 could equal 0, or x minus 6 could equal 0. So we'll add a 3. So that's 3, x equals 3. Then add 6, x equals 6. 3 and 6 are the two answers for x. Alright, next example. 5x to the second power minus 8x minus 4 equals 0. So again, it's a quadratic equation. There's two answers. Okay. So I've got A, B, C again. So make sure the zero's there, and then we apply the discriminant formula. We take b to the second and subtract the product of 4 times A times C. Okay, so let's go back here. So square root, double parentheses. B is negative 8, so negative 8, close it, x, y, 2, subtract 4. A is 5, C is negative 4. Remember, C you want to get in as negative 4. Okay, I got 12, so again, because it equals a integer, we want to try to factor it. So GCF and then the table. Kind of made that crappy right there. Okay, 5, 8, and 4 are only in the first row on that chart. Okay, so be 1 again, so I wouldn't do it. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. Okay, so it's negative, so we're looking at a positive times a negative, and we're trying to add to negative 8. 1 and 20, no. Divide by 2, you get 10, and there we have it. Okay, again, it's positive times negative because it's negative 20. Okay, now A is not a 1, A is a 5, so with the, you have to account for the 5 in front of the x squared. So you do that by making 4 parentheses, not just 2. You don't go x plus 2x minus 10. You need to put that 5, 5, 5, x, x, plus 2 minus 10. Then you divide down, okay? Because your factors now come from here. So that's only in the first row. So you can divide them by 1, the 5 and the 2, but it would stay 5x plus 2, and that's our F1. And then 5 and 10 are in the fifth row together, so we divide by 5, and that's 1x minus 2. Okay? 5x plus 2 times 1x minus 2 equals 0. Okay? So F1, F2. So 5x plus 2 could equal 0, 1x minus 2 could equal 0. So I subtract 2, that's negative 2, divide by 5. That would be, we'll just keep that as negative 2/5, and then here we'll plus 2, 1x equals 2, and that would just be 2. So negative 2/5 and 2 would be the answers to the third example. Okay, number 4, we have 3x to the second minus 2 equals 22. So there's 2 answers. Okay, now label your A. That's an A, and then we have C and C. Well, A, C's are easy. When there's no B, that's easy. We just get the x squared by itself. We add the 2, then divide by 3. Okay. 3x squared equals 24, then divide by 3. Remember, AC's just get the x squared by itself, then apply the square root to the 8. Okay? So square root of 8, 8's not a perfect square, so square root of the number 8, 2.83. So it could be 2.83 or negative 2.83. Either one works. Okay, example number 5. 7x to the power of 2 plus 10x plus 2 equals 0. So that's 2 answers. Okay. So ABC, another ABC, are equal to 0. So I apply the discriminant formula. Okay, and then B, so square root, double the parentheses, B is 10. Raise that to the second power always, and then subtract your 4. A is 7 and C is 2. Okay, I got an irrational decimal, 6.63. So I don't want to waste time doing the factoring, okay? I want to go to the quadratic formula. Opposite of B, plus or minus the square root, b squared minus 4ac, b squared minus 4ac over 2a, over 2a. Now the opposite of b would be negative 10, and this square root, we've already figured that out as 6.63. And then a is 7, okay? 2 times 7 is 14. So we have the plus negative, we have negative 10 in front, and then 6.63 comes after the plus minus, and then we have 14 on bottom. So I take negative 10 plus 6.63, click equals, and divide by 14. Negative 0.24. And then negative 10 minus 6.63, divide by 14. That'd be negative 1.19. Okay, example 6. Okay. We have 3 parentheses x minus 4 to the second equals 48. Now there's two answers, but we can't do the ABC because there's a parentheses there. You also cannot do the distributed property because the 2, that power blocks the distributed property. So you want to use your q. So q to the second, that always is raised to the power, that's right there. You're going to have a 3 in front of it equals 48. Now as soon as you've done that, before you solve for q, you need to make your table, because over here we're going to bring back our x minus 4. Okay, then divide by 3, and that's 16. Then the square root of 16 is 4. So q could be positive or negative 4. So I put 4 on this side, negative 4 on this side, and I just solve it. So I plus 4, that equals 8. Plus 4, negative 4 plus 4 is 0. 8 and 0. Okay, now the next one is not a quadratic equation, it's a cubic equation because you have x to the third now. So here's how we want to do x to the third, okay? Now we have x to the third. Do we have x to the second? No, we don't. Do we have x? Yes, we do. Do we have any constants? No, we don't. 0 doesn't count. So that is 2 terms, the x third and the x. A cubic equation with 2 terms, we want to do the GCF, factor it out, and then we want to see if we have a difference of perfect squares right there. So 3 and 27 are both in the, and again, don't do the ABC if there's 3 answers, okay? So you got 3, okay? X cubed and x, you'd have to factor out an x, so that x can go away in the end. So I go up and divide. Those cancel. Now remember, 3 divided by 3 is 1. X third divided by x is x to the second. And then 9. Okay, then you see if this, in that second parentheses, is a difference of perfect squares. That's the 2 parentheses with the plus and the minus. So if you have a 1 in front of the x, just get rid of it. Well, x to the second is a perfect square because you can write that as x times x. Then a negative, positive times negative, that works. And then 9 is a perfect square because that can be written as 3 times 3. Now, carry down your 3x, the GCF, because this turned into this, and then the 3x goes down. And then you have your F1, your F2, your F3. So 3x equals 0, we can divide by 3, and that's 0. X plus 3 equals 0, we subtract 3, that's negative 3. X minus 3 equals 0, you add 3, and that's positive 3. Okay, and then the 8th example, x to the third minus 5x to the second minus 9x plus 45 equals 0. So again, it's another cubic equation, but it's a lot different than the last one. You have x to the third, you have the x to the second this time, you have the x, and you also have a constant. So this time, here there was 2 terms, here there are 4 terms. So 4 terms is the grouping method, okay? So that's when you set up parentheses plus parentheses. You're going to make sure you have a plus in the middle. plus negative on the 9. Then the same thing with lines outside, and right there. And then equals 0 down there. Put a little, remember the last part's little parentheses, big parentheses. So you have 1x to the third minus 5x to the second. And then you have negative 9x plus 45. Okay, GCF, that's what both these spaces are, but we're only looking, 1 and 5 is 1, but we have x, we want to take that x to the second so that can go away. So I divide by 1x to the second. So that's 1. And that would go down to x, third and a second. The difference is 1, so x, just x, minus 5. Okay, 9 and 45, first off you need a negative whenever that first number is negative. Then 9 and 45 are both in the 9th row together, but we cannot put an x with that because a 45 doesn't have an x to take from. So it's going to be 1x minus 5. Now the parentheses match, that's good. Make sure they're identical, and you put that expression out here. Then in here you put 1x to the second minus 9. Okay, F1, F2. Now I know there's 3 answers, but remember this one gives you 2 answers because you're going to have to do the square root. So 1x minus 5 equals 0, so I add 5. 1x equals 5, it'd be 5. And then here we go 1x to the second minus 9 equals 0. So we add 9, that gives me 9. Divide by 1 would still be 9, so I'm just going to get rid of it. Then I apply the square root to 9. Now that's 3, but it could be 3 or negative 3. Okay, now we're going to do some story problems. Number 9. A golf ball is hit from the ground with it, and we've seen these story problems in past videos. A golf ball is hit from the ground with an initial vertical velocity of 84 feet per second. After how many seconds does it land on the ground? So you're finding the number of seconds. So use your reliable feet and seconds. Remember the time is x, feet is y, and then per feet per second. Feet per second, we have 84x. But you got to do some thinking here. A golf ball would go up and it comes back down. It's pulled by gravity, which in algebra is represented as negative 16x to the second. Okay? Now, where does it land? It lands on the ground, so 0 feet. Okay, so write your equation out. Okay, first off, you're going to have x to the second, negative 16x to the second. Then you're going to have your x, which is the 84x. Then constant. Well, you're not going to have a constant here because it starts, before the 84 feet per second, it starts at 0 feet. Okay? Equals. Okay? Y. Always put equals y at the beginning. Now you take the end, 0 feet, put that in for your y. Okay, so y is 0. Negative 16x squared plus 84x equals 0. So we know there's 2 answers. Okay, we have an A and a B, but no C. So you make sure your zeros there with an A and B, and all you do is apply the GCF. First off, you need it to be negative because the number in the expression is negative. Now go look up 16 and 84 on your chart. Those would both be in the 4th row. Okay, so I factor out negative 4, and I've also factor out the x. And that's F1. So I divide by negative 4x. That's going to be 4 with x. 84 divided by negative 4 is negative 21, so put minus 21. Okay, F1, F2. So negative 4x could equal 0. 4x minus 21 equals 0. So divide by negative 4 and you get 0. Plus 21 plus 21. 4x equals 21. divide by 4. Now that doesn't divide evenly. You can keep it 21 over 4. So over here you put 21 over 4, and if you wanted to divide that, 21 divided by 4 is 5.25 seconds. Okay, either one of those is okay. So again, the gravity comes first, then the velocity, then where it starts from, if it's 0, you just disregard it, equals y, and then 0 feet, feet goes in for y. Okay, next one. A baseball is hit into the air at an initial height of 4 feet with a velocity of 30 feet per second. For how many seconds is it in the air? Okay, so again, you got feet and you got seconds. Seconds is x, feet is y. So the feet per second is 30x. So we have this pulled down by gravity. So gravity is negative 16x to the second. Okay. Now, this time that starts from 4 feet. So you mark your 4 feet down. And it's going to land on the ground, so 0 feet. So, negative 16x squared comes first. Now add your feet per second rate. And you also have to now add your 4 into the equation. See, on the last problem it was 0, so I didn't have to put that there. I just went equals y. Now I got to add the 4. And then this is the replacement. 0 feet, feet is y, y becomes 0. Okay, so again, there's 2 answers. So let's go A, B, C. Okay, A, B, C, let's apply the discriminant to see if, just to make sure I don't get taken on a wild goose chase with my t-chart. Okay, the discriminant helps to know if the expression can be factored. So double it. B is 30 raised to the second minus 4. Then A is negative 16 and C is 4. Okay, 34, so I didn't get a decimal, so I want to do my factoring. Okay, GCF on ABC to factor it, you factor out the GCF first, and then you see if you can make 2 parentheses with your t-chart, which you know you can, otherwise you would have got a decimal. Okay, 16, 30, and 4, so let's look in the 4th row. Now 16 is in the 4th row, but 30 is not, so we move up to the 2nd row where I see 4, and you got 16, you got 30. So 2 is a GCF, but if the A is negative, then our GCF needs to be made negative. But we wouldn't do an X with the negative 2 because we have a C, okay, so it's just negative 2. So it's going to be 8x to the second minus 15x minus 2. And then I have a new A, B, and C from here. So when I'm working on my chart, that's what I want to go with. 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. Positive times negative. We're adding to try to get to negative 15, which is easy because you divide by 1, you get 16. Okay, A. Now your A, right, remember, you want to look here for your A. The last A you had was 8. Okay. So having an 8 means I need to set up 2 sets. Lead off with 8, 8, and then the X and the X, then the plus 1 and the minus 16. Now that can only be divided by 1, so that is my F1. This, 8 and 16, that's in the 8th row. So divide it by 8 and F2. Now the GCF of negative 2, it's kind of irrelevant because it doesn't have an X. If it was negative 2x, it'd be important, but when it's just negative 2, no. So 8x plus 1 could equal 0, or 1x minus 2 could equal 0. So we're going to add 2. We get 2. 2 divided by 1 is 2. And then minus 1, that's negative 1. So negative 1/8. Okay. Now obviously 2 is the one we want to put as our answer. Okay, then the last one. Okay, a rectangular trivet has an 8" by 6" center and a wooden uniform border. If the area is 120 square inches, how wide is the border? So now they're talking about a shape, so don't make your boxes, just right here. So it's 8 by 6 in the middle. And there's your picture right there. Now you need to write an equation for the area, okay? Length times width equals area. So make a parentheses for the length times a parentheses for the width equals the area. We know the area is 120 though, so I have a number to put there. Now for your length, it's not 8, you got to do the whole thing. So from here to here is 8, but then these are unknown, the outside, so x. So 1x plus 1x would be 2x, so that'd be 2x plus 8. So that's 6, 1x would be 2x, 2x plus 6. Then you need to multiply, find the product of those parentheses, okay? So 2x times 2x. 2x times 6, then 8 times 2x, and 8 times 6. So that's going to be 4x to the second. That's going to be 12x, 16x, and then 48. So that's an A. These are both B's, and that's a C. So add your B's. So you have 4x to the second as an A. Add your B's, 12 plus 16 is 28x, that's a B, plus the 48, that's a C, equals 120. Now 120 is also a C, so we need to move that over with the 48, so we have A, B, C all together. Okay, so I have 4x to the second plus 28x. 48 minus 120 is negative 72. Okay, now you have your A, your B, and your C. Apply the discriminant rule. B squared minus 4AC. To see if you need to make the chart or we just go to the quadratic formula. So square root. So B, you got 28. And raise it to the second power. Subtract 4. Then A is 4, and C is 72. Okay, 44, it's a whole number, so we want to try to factor with our boxes. So GCF, and then the table. Okay, 428 and 72. Okay, 428 and 72 are all in the fourth row, so we can factor out a 4. You can't factor out an x, so just a 4. So divide by 4. So now that's 1x to the second, that's my new A, plus 7x, my new B, minus 18, my new C, and then I run the t-chart. 1 times negative 18 is negative 18, so it's a positive times a negative, and we're adding to try to get to positive 7. 1 and 18, no dice. Divide by 2, you get 9. Now that adds to negative 7, so we have the right numbers. We just have to make the 9 positive and the 2 negative. Now my A up there, the last A I have is a 1. So if it's a 1, you can get rid of it. And that you can just rewrite as 2 parentheses, okay? X minus 2, x plus 9. Now that GCF of 4 you can bring down, but I don't put it in parentheses because it doesn't have an x. So those are the only 2 factors I worry about. So x minus 2 equals 0, x plus 9 equals 0. So I add 2, you get 2, minus 9, you get negative 9. Okay, 2 is the answer we want though.